something about Facebook that once you're logged in, it just sucks you in and nothing else matters. Visual culture is defined as a concern with visual events in which individuals seek information and meaning through interaction with a visual technology, such as magazines, televisions, computer screens, and virtual reality. But why is it that when we start to seek specific information, we continue to wander and search for more and more and more until we just lose track of time, and it could be hours until we figure out when we need to stop? Some estimates have put the amount of time spent by adults on Facebook as high as 90 minutes per day. This is absolutely ridiculous, but the thing is, that's only the average amount of time. So there are many people who are spending a lot less time, but there are plenty of people who are spending a lot more. Visual communication is something that people have grown addicted to in the years that social media and online advertising have flooded out our daily lives. Due to the ever-growing presence of visual communication in our daily lives, especially through the internet and other technologies, we have grown to become adept to specific icons and pictures. Because visual communication completely depends on how an individual interprets an image, it is very difficult to describe to people why someone can be addicted to the internet. People who are addicted to the internet see a specific symbol or image that can set off a trigger for them to go to a certain webpage and explore for information. Internet addicts spend about 25 to 30 hours per week on the internet because they become addicted to what they see. One bit of information can lead to a further examination, then a distraction from an advertisement or a pop-up can lead to a whole new exploration right before their eyes. It affects my schoolwork, it affects my social life, it just completely takes over. The internet is my biggest enemy. The people who are most vulnerable to internet addiction usually fall under the iconic mentality category. This includes people who are creative but have a tendency to get easily distracted. It becomes a huge issue on a lot of websites, not just Facebook. All it takes is for an iconic person to sign on to Twitter and see a new trending topic, such as KaiFest. Next thing you know, they have a list of all their friends and peers who have status updates about an event that's happening right on campus. Before you know it, it's time for them to visually express themselves to their Twitter followers with the status, "Let's go, #KaiFest," and then they will usually tag all of their friends who will be joining them in their activities. Now, Twitter uses a lot of notational symbols like the hashtag and @ symbols, and even emoticons. Twitter uses the hashtags to group trending topics and @ symbols to direct messages towards others. Emoticons are universal amongst all of social networking sites to express a particular feeling. The advertisements suck me in. I mean, one second I'm on Facebook, next second there's an ad for new shoes, and I fucking spent $200 on a new pair of shoes. Just don't understand. It just doesn't end and never stop. Pinterest seems to be a new outlet for internet addicts. It is described by some people as a place for people to virtually decorate houses they don't have, dress themselves up in clothes they can't afford, and even travel to places that may not exist. Pinterest is a website in which users can take images they see directly in front of them and pin them to different boards they create for specific categories. Pinterest is usually the culprit for a lot of impulse buying as well. Users who will see items they want to purchase can just click on the picture they see and it goes right to the online store. Next thing you know, all they have to do is press add to cart and go right to the checkout. They even allow you to press a single button to completely go through with your purchase with PayPal. Visual communication has made shopping and browsing much easier, but the biggest question is easier better? Between websites such as Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, Twitter, Google+, and even online shopping websites, visual communication has made even more easily available to people and in a much more depth way than ever before. People thrive off of a sense of belonging, and social networking uses visual communication to satisfy that need in many individuals. Unfortunately, though, internet addiction has become a very common result. 4 components that have been related to internet addiction are excessive internet use, often associated with a loss of time or neglect of basic drives, withdrawal, including feelings of anger, tension, and/or depression when the computer is inaccessible, tolerance, including the need for better computer equipment, more software, or more hours of use, and adverse consequences, including arguments, lying, poor school or vocational achievement, social isolation, and even fatigue. It is very important to stress that virtual visual communication and real-life visual communication are two totally different mediums of communicating. As great as technology is with its constantly evolving atmosphere and making visual communication more and more easy to access, it is becoming a big problem in society. Cell phones and other personal media devices have given people the ease of being virtually tuned into visual communication but tuned out of the visual communication right around them. People begin missing out on what is happening around them at any moment because they are distracted by the visual cues of online media.